one session on the trainer to end all sessions, which is a bit clickbaity because you do probably need a few more sessions. But here is my absolute go-to session in any build for any length race, from a pursuit through to a 90k or 180k bike leg in an Ironman. So what is it? I'll talk you through it soon. But let's just start with the absolute basics. It's a VO2 max set on the trainer. Let's start with VO2. What is it? V, volume, O2, oxygen, maximum. So just essentially, it's the maximum consumption and effective use of oxygen by your body. Why do we need a good VO2, or why do we need to train for 1 minute or 30 seconds when we're riding for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours? It's essentially because the closer your VO2 number can get to your absolute power, or what we call a FTP, the closer that gap is, the better you'll be and the faster you'll be. You won't automatically be faster if you have a higher VO2, but your body will break down the fats and the carbs a lot easier and quicker and more effectively. Therefore, even at the same speed, you'll be doing that same speed a lot easier. And your recovery from a harder effort during the race, like a spike, a hill, or in triathlon as we pass people, or just a bit of a spike and trying to stay on a wheel in a road race. So as you spike up, your body will be able to clear out the lactic acid or the waste byproducts a lot easier if you're training it week in, week out. So what's the session, I hear you all ask? Well, it's pretty simple. It's on a trainer. You can do the road, but the trainer is just so controllable, and you don't have the cars, the speed bumps, the potholes, the traffic lights to stop you, and you can just completely focus on what you're doing, which is your VO2 max set on the trainer. A fancy trainer set up like this. This camera's cool, hey. Or just the most basic trainer you can get. Remember, your legs and your heart and your cardio, they do not know what trainer you're using, okay? So whatever you have, just do it and use it. It is simply either 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, or 1 minute on, 1 minute off. So 1-to-1 ratio, depends what you choose. As I get closer to races, I use 1 minuters. As I'm a bit further out from the races and not as fit, I use 30 seconds. So you need to determine what your zone or your VO2 zone is. So if we use the Coggan cycling training zones, which is what Training Peaks uses, and it's usually the most commonly used training zone, you can see from the chart that it is 106% to 120% of your FTP. So you need to do an FTP test or similar and come up with your number. So it's simply 30 seconds at 106 to 120% of your FTP on, 30 seconds off. I use completely off. I just do whatever I want. Sometimes I even stop pedaling towards the end. I don't float between it at a certain determined number. On, and I use about 110% of my FTP, just so it's super repeatable. No use going in at 120% and then failing the whole session. Remember, pick a number that you can sustain for 16 efforts. Break it up if you need to, 16 efforts if it's at 1 minute. Break it up if you need to, break it up into chunks of 4, or just the whole way through. As you get fitter, you'll notice that you can get pretty darn good at repeating 1 minute on, 1 minute off for 16 ons, 32 minutes in total. So I hope that helps on the session to end all sessions. Just remember, you need to add strength in there and some VO2. So it was clickbait. Get out on the trainer, whether it's your Wahoo setup or an old clunky bike at home in the garage, and send me a session if you want. Motivate me, even though there's no thing as motivation. Anyway, have a good day. repeat from yesterday. VO2 set. 110% for myself. 10% of VO2 is, I always work off 400. Nice rounded number. Ends up being about 110% of my FTP. On a good day. Not after 8 months off. Anyway, let's do a set.
I'm a bad bitch. I'm a bad bitch. I'm a bad bitch. I'm a bad bitch. $1 billion ass, $1 billion bitch. They already know $1 billion bitch. I'm a bad bitch. I'm a bad bitch. I'm a bad bitch. I'm a bad bitch.
So, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, 400 on, whatever you want off. It feels like you're breathing heavy. It's true. 5 seconds.
I'm a bad bitch. I'm a bad bitch. I'm a bad bitch. I'm a bad bitch. $1 billion ass, $1 billion bitch. They already know $1 billion bitch.
Wahoo element. It's color coded. So when you put your zones onto your computer, onto your profile, they are light color. So I'm looking for that sort of light red color. 5 seconds. I'm doing 6 of these.
It's the typical shit. I'm up on these bitches like it's 10 to 2. Your man want my legs up in 10 to 2. I'm deep in the night when I'm on time. But kinda make them want bucks. Can't get close if it falls down. Yes, it ass with a long time. Never back and he's so surprised. And he's so alive. In Miami on Ocean Drive.
6 times 30 on, 30 off. If it feels like you're puffing, you should be. If you're not puffing, go harder or get off because you're done. I'll do 4 sets of 6. That was my 3rd set. So come along for the last set. Always the cheekiest set.